What's up, guys? Brandon here with Snowy, or French, from Barking Mad, and today we're here to talk to you about the responsibilities that you have as a dog owner in the areas of on the walk, and when you go and do something that I don't recommend is going to dog parks. So let's talk about the first responsibility that you have on the walk. So now I'm doing this video because during the week, obviously I get a lot of questions of people asking, I've got this issue, I've got that issue. A lot of them stem back to clients asking about when, I had this incident, that I was on a walk, this dog came this way, it did this, my dog did this, like who was in the wrong and who was in the right. And 99% of these issues would be non-existent if people led the walk and they didn't let the dog walk them. So if your dog is walking in front of you, even if this little girl is walking in front of me, it's her instinct to react or to take the responsibility of whatever's coming the other way. So that means dogs and other people coming in the other way, and that also means, sorry, just seeing where I'm supposed to be looking, that also means people, cars, other animals, anything that you can sort of think of in our environment. When they're in front, they're going to react to it the way that they're going to. They don't have the best decision-making skills. Like, we always laugh about all the stupid things that they do, and that's our amusement as their owners, but we let them make the decisions. So we'll let our dog go and sniff the other dog and just see what they do. That's the opposite to what you want to do. You want to take them there and you want to show them what to do, because not all of them have the skills, and you have to teach the social skills, especially dogs that didn't stay with their mother and stuff like that. They would have got taught all these ways to calm down by their mother or their pack. So that's your job now, because you want to be parents. So you have to lead the walk. If your dog is walking in front of you, if your dog is pulling on the lead, they're obviously leading as well. They sort of know what they're doing. They know they're putting tension on the lead. They're predators as well, so they know their angles. So what happens is they always pull off to that that one angle, and it makes our spine go like that. They've worked that out, so they're not silly. You have to, I guess, earn the right to run a pack. If you think of a pack of dogs as, or one dog, or if you've got two dogs or a human and a dog, it's still a pack to them. You have to be running the show. It's sort of like a powerful, high CEO type job. When most of them are just followers, most of them are just workers. So your responsibility. So they have to walk beside or behind you. That alleviates then the responsibility and the worry of protecting a pack. So if they see dogs come the other way, or a dog and a human, it's another pack. So they're going to fight, flight, all those sorts of reactions. So to stop them getting into those reactions, they stay behind us, which keeps them calm. When they're in front or excited, dominant, they're gonna use their decision-making skills. Some will just run away, some will ignore, some will go forward, some will bite, some will jump. That brings me to my next thing. So when two dogs meet and the humans are behind them, so two dogs and they're the humans, this is bad. This is very bad. It's letting them decide how to interact with each other. And you might say, my dog just wants to play. I have clients, or just anyone come to me and say that they're out on a walk and their dog is lunging, like jumping forward towards another dog or a car. It could even be a car, or a bike, or whatever the threat is to them, and they say that they just want to play. Well, that is not exactly true. They want to control They want to control. If they, if they jump on other dogs, that's disrespectful. We have to sort of see it that way. So we don't allow two dogs to meet and make the decisions. If you let your dog pee on the walk as well, as in marking the trees, then basically they're just saying that this territory is mine, so they're going to defend. So you have to cut that behavior out. So sniffing, peeing, nearly the same thing. Sniffing is tracking. Sniffing is tracking. Yeah, they like it because it gets them excited, but excitement is not necessarily happiness. See, Snowy is really calm right now. I think this is a very happy dog. What do you think? Dogs that sit there and they're buzzing, that's not normal. So, she shouldn't kiss me in the mouth either. Okay, so no sniffing, no peeing, no pulling. Here's a test. If you can't walk your dog, I guess, at a heel in your backyard, you have 0 chance of controlling it outside of the walk, and then you have 0 times a million chance of not controlling it when you get to a dog park. So start that as a test. You have to win the walk in the backyard before you bring it out. When you bring it outside, it's more of a public zone. They see that there's more other cars, dogs, people, everything around. So they're going to challenge more of the a dominance type dog where there's no leader. So dog parks. I look at the statistics. So there's one fight every 3 hours in a dog park. Those are the stats. So if you were going to go to a public place where there's going to be one fight every 3 hours, which probably a nightclub or a bar is probably a good example of those. That's where you're going to take your dogs or your children out to socialize. So you don't want to do that. I'm telling you lots of do's. I will tell you, some don'ts. I will tell you some do's towards the end, but I've got to get the don'ts out of the way because you got to know these things. Dog parks should not be used to exercise your dog. Not to be used to exercise your dog. They can be used to socialize your dog, even though I don't really recommend it at all. You're sort of setting yourself up for it. Go socialize outside the dog park. So have them on the lead and walk around. Once you start can control your dog, further away from a larger pack of dogs, then you're going to have a better chance. Or go at a quieter time. There are some dog parks that have some pretty placid dogs there, and nothing's ever going to happen. But anytime that I've taken clients to dog parks, it's not been a good outcome, and it hasn't been my suggestion either. So don't use it as a form of exercise. They're gonna get their exercise out with whatever type of behavior they want. Jumping, running. They're all gonna get a little bit too intense. So what a better idea is take your dog for an actual walk, like you probably should every day, instead of you walking to the car, getting in the car, getting out of the car, then walking to the gate of the dog park and then letting the dog off. Again, probably the worst thing you could do. Not only that, when everyone's standing around the dog parks and the humans are just standing still and all the dogs are running around, so it's better if everyone just sits down. The humans sit down, relax, ignore the dogs. It's a better way that way. So yes, so take your dog for a walk, at least for an hour, leading the walk, and then once they're tired, they're not going to challenge as much, and they're relaxed, and then they can go into the dog park and socialize, and you're going to have a lot better time that way. You have to bear with me. I did make there's some notes that I wanted to look at. It's important, guys. Snowies will keep you entertained in the meantime. Wait, your high five? Yeah. It's not great to teach your dogs to do that either. Oh. So if you have an unneutered male, don't take it out anywhere. Don't do it. Even if it's, you know, the most placid dog ever, the smell of the, you know, the testicles and the testosterone are going to stimulate a fight within other dogs. That's just what's going to happen. 100%. Just neuter your dog unless you're going to breed it, which, you know, unless you know what you're doing. Don't just do that. Don't think, oh, we'll keep his testicles and we'll have 1 litre when you know nothing about breeding. So don't do that either. Get your dog desexed. It's going to grow to the same size. Trust me, it will. And you're going to have, you know, more hair by the time they grow out of their puppy stage, or by the time they, you know, by the time you give up. So never take unneutered males. Instead of going to a dog park, find some neighbours that have dogs also and go walk them in a pack together, all the same way. So that brings everyone together. That's a much better idea than going to a dog park and socialising. Because you want to socialising, you just don't let them off and just let them go social. Some fine, some Snowy, I could let her off and she'd be fine. And then you've probably got some dogs out there that do the exact same thing, but they're a lot less common than you think. So if you're at a dog park, you have to control your dog bullying other dogs. So that's, you know, jumping, too much biting. So there's, I guess, a play intensity that dogs will have. And if one dog's bullying too much, the other dog's not want to reciprocate and come play. So when that's happening, that's, you know, time for you to step in and to stop that. The issue again with dog parks is that you've got all ages. So you've got people bringing 6-month-old puppies and 12-year-old dogs, Chihuahuas and Great Danes. So think of all that range, and it's just crazy. It's like taking babies and, you know, old 80-year-olds to, you know, the one place to socialize and expect them to get along. That's not necessarily going to happen. So your dog doesn't have to go and interact with all the other dogs. So socialization is just, you know, just walking around and, you know, just being in the same public place as each other and following the same set of rules. That's what socialization is. So there's not many. Just don't go run and bite the other dogs. That's all. So it's just having control of your dog. It's less common than you think. And yeah, I guess a lot of the issues that other people have, even if your dog is like Snowy and she's a darling and she would never, she should never bite, she would never, you know, never our animals, but, you know, pretty damn confident. So for me, I get her to heel behind me as well, so it helps the other dogs. So when you think about it, even if your dog doesn't do anything, it doesn't go and jump or lunge off the lead or anything like that, they just go up and sniff and walk off. Some dogs, especially the ones that are meant to be at the further at the back of the pack, they're very sensitive. So you walk towards them, even humans, if you walk towards them, they're going to duck their head and walk away. So they're sensitive ones. You don't want any other dogs going up to them and getting in their face, because you don't know how they're going to react. So let's talk about reaction. So, you know, when people have like got a basketball or something before and they've got like that to your face, so you jump, like, or someone goes to poke in your eye and you'll go back. That is a reaction. That's how these guys work. They don't think about things. So if something happens, they're just going to react. So that's why it's always best for you to be out in front. Don't let your dogs mark on the the letter boxes and the front gates of other dogs' properties either. So they will definitely try to do that. If they go into a tree, it's most likely because they've seen another dog in the property. Don't let them do that. It's very, very, very disrespectful. It's disrespectful even just to hang around, and you're supposed to move on. So that helps the other dogs that are, you know, in their yards as well, not react. But that brings me to my next point as well. People that leave their dogs in the front yard, they're on guard duty. If they're if they're in the front yard, they're on guard duty. So they're going to harass all the other dogs walking past as well. It's fine if you want your dog to be a guard dog, but get a guard dog. Don't get, you know, like Snowy's not a guard dog, but she'll bark out the front. It's more just annoying. Or if you're going to do it at night, because you know, that's when you know, you want the intruders out. But I bet you've got them in your room with you, or in the bed, so they're not really a guard dog, are they? No. So yeah, just the difference in the sizes and the energy levels and the ages of the dogs. Keep that in mind. It's better just to find, you know, some local people that you can socialize your dog with, you know, and their dogs daily. They need daily socialization. If you've got a dog that doesn't go out and spend time with other dogs, they're going to have issues. They're 100% going to have issues. Human interaction is not enough for a dog. Is not enough. We might be able to fulfill lots of other their needs, but they need to be a dog. It's like okay, you're a dog from now on. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to treat them for what they are. So all that walk stuff is going to bring me to my main point, which recently there was something in the news about a therapy alpaca that was attacked and killed by a dog. I think it was like I don't want to say Staffy, but I can't remember the breed, but you know, it wasn't you know, it wasn't a Chihuahua, but obviously the alpaca died. I don't think the dog got put down. I think the owner you know, was able to avoid that out of the you know, the kindness of the owner of the alpaca. But that dog was off lead. If your dog is off lead and you cannot call it back 100% of the time, you do not have control of your dog, and you should not have them off lead. That's the end of the story. If you look on it's like Melbourne's like responsibility, you know, dog ownership, you know, what other, or about having ID tags, as in, you know, pay us money. That's very important. You know, they had other care things, you know, general feed your dog, all that sort of stuff. But under the behavior, they just said that you have to have your dog on a lead or under proper hand or voice control. That means that when your dog is off lead, that when they go and race and see another dog, that you call them back and they come 100% of the time. If you can't do that, do not take your dog off the leash. It is not ready. You do not have enough leadership. It's not their recall. It's not practicing recall. They either listen to you or they don't. Here's a common thing. They listen to me, but not when other dogs are around. Well, they don't listen to you at the most important time. Well, we've got to change that, people. We're going to change that. So, the alpaca died because of the owner, and everyone looks at the dog and blames the dog. It's a reaction. It's a llama. Like it would have been prey to dogs. They do not understand that they are domesticated now and that they do not have to hunt. We have to walk them. We have to feed them a certain way. We have to give them, you know, some challenges and some boundaries around, you know, the house and what they can and can't do to fulfill that need of what they'll get through their hunting and all those other sorts of drives. That's your responsibility to get them out of that so they can practice that in a positive way. It's like when people get stressed. So you can either do two things. You can go for a walk, which is a great thing, or you can grab a chocolate bar. So we want to teach our dogs to direct their instinct into a more positive way than a negative, unhealthy way, which is being, I guess, antisocial and barking and biting and all that sort of stuff. And the issue is with that is that when you don't correct them as puppies, or let's think about young kids. If you don't correct young kids at the right time, they grow up and they end up, doing the wrong things. They end up in jail and stuff like that. So our dogs don't have a jail. What happens to those dogs is that the humans give up on them. They're just too much. It's the dog. I just can't control them. And then they palm them off to family, or they drop them off at the pound and tie them up out front or something like that. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So these are the responsibilities that you should uphold to avoid those sorts of things. There's some people out there that aren't just going to do it. So unfortunately they exist, and that's why I believe you should have at least some sort of permit or license to own a dog. You need one for reptiles, etc. Why would a dog be any different? So these people, they're just going to get a dog for them. They're going to get a nice big blue Staffy and look tough and never walk it. They're the guys that you see that look really cool, and maybe you see them like once or twice a week walking their dog, but their dog's pulling out the front, pulling them, and they're holding the lead back, and they're just texting on the phone, and like they get the dog to like have I don't know, what would we just say, it's like a sort of can be like a fashion item, especially for a young man in his young boy in his early 20s, 18, all that sort of stuff. They get a dog, and girls, oh, cute puppy. So they get a dog for them, for the image. So people think, oh, they're really nice. They do they give their dogs lots of stuff. They really love their dogs. Yet they fucking walk them once a week. Yeah, good job. All right, I hope this before I make these videos, I really try to think, how do I say point out all this stuff that is, concerning, but not to be negative. And sometimes it's hard, but we just have to push through, don't we, French? Because it's not your fault that you don't know these things. Because what were you taught when you bought a dog? About another species? Nothing. Exactly. So, French is going to educate you. She looks concerned. French is going to educate you. Anyway, I know this has gone for 23 minutes now. I don't really care, because I think it's important that get this sort of information out there, and to help the doggies, which is getting a nice butt scratch at the moment. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for your time. If you've stuck around to watch it all, and please share this with some people. I know you guys know some friends that have a naughty dog, but they're a little bit oblivious to it, or they're like willfully blind. They want to look the other way so that they don't have to address the issue. So just share it with them. Get them to keep open-minded. So thanks for your time. Catch you later.